Very good morning to you from wherever you are watching us from. This is KTN Sunrise Live. My name is Aaron Ocheng. Now I'm joined in the studio by Honorable Elizabeth Ongoro, Member of Parliament for Kasarani and also the National Vice Chairman of the Orange Democratic Party. Welcome to KTN.
Thank you.
We are going to engage the Honorable on a number of issues based on her position as the National Vice Chairman of the ODM. We're going to engage her also on issues to do with Nairobi politics. Now, you can participate in the show by sending in your comments and your questions to our number 8040 and also by posting your comments on Facebook and also following us on Twitter. Okay, welcome to the show, Madam.
Thank you.
Now, you are the national chair, the vice chair of the national of the ODM party.
Yes.
Now, recently we've been hearing, I know many people are switching parties. I know elections are nearing, people are saying, okay, maybe where I am is not where I belong. But there have been a number of defections from ODM. Does that show that the party is losing its popularity that it had during the last general election?
You know, Aaron, when you say defections, it gives the implication of quite a number of people exiting the party ODM. That is not true. I am aware of one or two defections nationally, bearing in mind that the party ODM is a very popular party. In my view and in Kenya's view, actually a mass movement. When one person exits, that should be considered vis-a-vis how many people join the party per day. And while I don't want to talk about the masses who are joining the party ODM in their thousands per day, we receive very many high-level defections at our Orange House headquarters. But we have decided not to highlight them because, you know, I think you highlight something that happens once in a long while. But in ODM, it's a daily occurrence that so every day from morning to evening, we get at least 50 defectors who are received at Orange House. So we don't see any need calling the press every day to camp at Orange House from morning to evening. In fact, the defections are so massive to our party, to the point that we decided now to decentralize the receiving the defectors. We are now receiving them in their various counties because the numbers that were trooping to Orange House were just unmanageable. So right now, all our 47 county offices have been mandated to receive defectors. And as somebody who is even in the media, even if we wanted you people to camp in all our 47 county offices from morning to evening, just to highlight our defectors, it would not be possible. So you are saying we have decided to grow silently without making a lot of noise about it. But as for the perception that is being hyped in the media, when one person leaves the party ODM and we see it being covered and being given headline news for 1 month in every media house, we are surprised. It means that really those parties are so starved of people joining them that when one person joins them, they actually spend their time to buy space in the newspapers, to highlight it, to receive this one person. We saw one person being received a record number of 5 times. In very big occasions, 5 times. Every time we are receiving her, we are now receiving her again. Now we are receiving her yet again. We don't have that time to really give that much time to anyone. You would agree with me that since the last general election, we've had high-level defections, and you won't say that they didn't affect the popularity of the party. We had Najib Balala leaving. We have William Ruto leaving. Musalia Mudavadi is out. Recently, we saw a nominated member of parliament, Rachel Shebesh, leaving. Does that still say that these defections are irrelevant? No, I want to disagree with you. First and foremost, we have not seen any defections. What happened earlier were people who had presidential ambitions trying to create space for themselves by forming their own parties or moving out to spaces that they felt were more conducive to them. That is not, according to us, a defection. That is healthy competition, according to us. And you remember that all these people you are talking about were members of our Pentagon. And you also remember that in 2007, all of them wanted the presidential ticket. And they all went to Kasarani to look for votes. And during the voting process, the Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, emerged the winner. And they remained as members of the Pentagon. That simply tells anybody who has a political mind that these people's ambitions were not killed at the elections of 2007. It was only natural that they would eventually create space for themselves if, after 2 or 3 years, they realized that our presidential candidate, the Honorable Prime Minister, was still more popular in the party ODM. Maybe any shrewd politician would do what they did by going to form their parties so that they create their own troops. And that is the way we treated them. I want to assure you that the party ODM is a mass movement. When you live alone. There's nobody who will live with even 100 members or 10 members of ODM, because we all converge on the platform of the ideologies that are held by the party ODM. And you cannot convince even a grassroots person to live with you for your own reasons. So these people who are living, whatever high level or whatever you want to call them, and you have only mentioned 4 in a period of 4.5 years, I think in that respect we are doing well. 4 defections in 4.5 years, we are doing well. And but I'm surprised that you would include the Honorable Rachel Shebesh in the list of your high-level defections. This is a nominated member that was nominated by the party ODM, who did not hold any constituency, did not win any vote for the party ODM. We welcome everybody. We want everybody to stay. But I can assure you that when somebody leaves ODM, they live alone. If you wanted to ask me how many people, for example, in a county like Nairobi, where she is based, left with her to join TNA, not a single. So tell me, what gain or what big loss? Because at the same time, we have always supported democratic ideals, and we don't want to be hypocrites, to talk about one thing and then practice another by withholding, threatening, or stopping people who want to leave. We will do all we have to do to keep people, but when somebody, for their own reason, maybe for a long time, having negotiated elsewhere and having been promised 1 or 2 things, decide to leave, as a democratic party, we also respect their democratic choices.
Yeah, the scenario has changed a little bit from 2007, because you said that the names that I have mentioned, they were also presidential aspirants. They were actually bidding in 2007, but they were bidding inside ODM.
Yes.
Yeah, but this time around they've left the party and they were bidding from other parties. That's why I'm talking about, does it affect the party?
No, it has not affected the party. What it has done is to strengthen our positions.
Why is that so? Because
why it is so is because it does not affect our grassroots support. And this is where the support is. If we saw defections that took a massive number of people from ODM, then I would be here, and honestly I would tell you that we are strategizing on how to bring those people back to ODM.
Looking at
but look at even what happened recently when we won a civic seat in Mudavadi's backyard. Really, what does that tell you? Did we transport people from Kilifi to go and vote in that place? No. That is his constituency.
But if you go with that, even Musalia Mudavadi got so many votes in Kangema, more than Raila Odinga.
Well, those are the things we talk about. When people vote for him in Kangema, it doesn't mean. But by the way, you must bear in mind that we did not have a candidate. We were supporting a candidate, so we cannot really say that the strength of the party ODM was weighed alongside another party. We decided not to field a candidate. So Kangema cannot be a platform for gauging the popularity of ODM. Let me tell you that opinion polls, if you are sincere, the most recent show that we are at about 22% in Central. So we are doing very well. We
And
are
nationally,
very well.
your opinion poll has gone down in the last few months.
Well, that is what the opinion polls say. We are still leading with a very big margin, without any mergers, without anybody else. And I think having sustained the lead for 4.5 years, and with the strategies that we have put in place, and which I'm not going to discuss here, you know, for every race, for every athlete, the way you finish the race really matters. And I know that with the strategies we have put in place, with the recruitment drives that are happening, with the structures that we are strengthening within the party, and everything else that we are working on, I can assure you that there's no party, even if they merge, even if all of them rebranded themselves, as is happening, I think we are very comfortably going to win the next elections.
Okay, now let's talk about coalition building and talking to other parties. There's been speculation that your party leader, Raila Odinga, has been talking with persons from the other parties. You, as the vice national chairman, would you ascertain if Raila Odinga is engaging with other presidential candidates?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are open to engagement with anybody, with any party, with anybody willing to work with us. That is actually the spirit of the new constitution. We want to build unity within and amongst Kenyans, but we are not advocating for the killing of other parties, for them to join or to rejoin ODM, the party ODM. We don't want to take this country back to the single party system. We are encouraging parties to be independent, to have their structures, but we welcome them to come and work with us. And that is why our party leader, the Honorable Raila Odinga, has been engaging with various leaders, and he's still going to engage. You're going to still see a lot of engagements, and you don't be surprised, even when we end up working with some political leaders or with some parties, but independently as mergers, not advocating for other parties to wind up to then come and rejoin us, as is happening with other teams. We don't advocate for that.
Okay.
We want you to come and work with us. We want to respect your ideals. We want to see, to find a common ground, a common platform of engagement, and we move on for the good of this nation.
Now, do you think, or do you have evidence, or you have anything to show which parties that ODM is engaging with, or which parties approached you, or you've approached them in terms of looking for mergers?
Well, Aaron, that would be jumping the gun, maybe a little too early. I just want to state that we are engaging very seriously.
Okay, let me ask you a direct question.
Yes.
Did Raila Odinga meet with William Ruto?
Yes, he did.
They did?
Yes.
Do you know any of the details of that meeting?
Which I will not divulge here.
Okay.
I choose not
Who
to.
approached the other? Did William Ruto go to Raila Odinga, or Raila went to Ruto?
I also choose not to answer that. Just the important thing is that they engaged. They met, they are still going to meet. We welcome William Ruto. He is one of our brothers. We actually recognize William Ruto as one person who has walked the path of democracy with us, who has fought with us from the same side, and it would be very beautiful. It would be a very beautiful scenario if we came back to work with the party ODM, so that we finish this race together.
The positions are that the people who left the party, like the likes of the deputy party leader, they've still not been filled up. Why not? Are you expecting that probably that position is reserved for them because you're anticipating probably they will reconsider their move from ODM?
Well, they have not been filled up because we don't want to do things just anyhow. We have got party rules that guide all our activities, and when the time comes for us to make those replacements, again, I told you, it will be done through a National Delegates Conference or some party structures with the mandate to undertake those kind of responsibilities. We are not in a hurry. because we have very strong grassroots structures that really do not make us feel that there's any gap within the party.
It is just 4
leadership.
months to election. You're not in a hurry.
No, but 4 months to elections, but the strength of any party is within the grassroots structures, which I think the party ODM is the only one that has so far. So with very strong structures at the grassroots, we don't feel any vacuum at the top. We actually are not feeling that there's any vacancy that was. There's no real weight that is being felt at the top.
Okay.
So we are having our National Delegates Conference very soon, and during that you will see a lot of things happening and a lot of changes.
The Nairobi ODM office has been involved in a number of squabbles, especially picking the chairman of the party, representing the party in Nairobi region. I don't know if that is the issue. That is the issue is still unresolved up to now, because the message that the party is sending is that probably you're not even united here in Nairobi.
No, again, as you say, and you rightfully use the word probably, it is a perception and a creation of the press. We went to the polls, a united front, and we have come out even stronger. For a party that is very, very popular like ODM, it would be incredible to go for any election and not have people fighting to get a position here or there. But as far as I'm concerned, we conducted our elections, and we elected our party officials, and one or two issues that were there have been resolved, and we are working together as a team, the Nairobi team, under the banner of ODM. And as far as I'm concerned, we don't have any issues. Okay. Yes.
Now, I would also like to inform viewers that we had invited the Starehe Member of Parliament, Margaret Wanjiru. She was expected to be here, but she said she's engaged. That's why we only have Honorable Elizabeth Ongoro with us here. Now, still on ODM, there's the party structures that ODM has. The president, the party leader, the vice chairman, the deputy party leaders. All these are positions that some of them are not have not been filled up. And last general election, you had a very strong top organ, the Pentagon. I don't know if you'll still go back to forming another Pentagon as we're going to election.
No, I don't think any serious candidate would have the same campaign strategy every time, every 5 years. That was our campaign strategy for 2007. It really beats logic to have the same strategy 5 years down the line. A lot of things, the political scenario has changed. We have a new constitution. The playing ground has also been a bit quite fluid. And I don't think we are going to end up with the same structures that we had in 2007. But when you say so many positions have not been filled, I don't know which ones you're referring to. We only have one position, two positions that have not been filled, that of deputy party leader. And as I told you, we are not in a hurry to handpick people just for the sake of filling positions. We want to honor our party structures. We want to go by our party constitution. We want to do things in a structured way. It would be very easy for the Prime Minister, for example, to just wake up one day and just handpick somebody and say, you are now a deputy. But as a democratic leader, he is not interested in undertaking those kind of responsibilities. He has left all those kind of decisions for the main party organs. And the party organs have got a structured way of even filling those positions. And that is what we are following. You recently saw us conducting elections from the grassroots up to the national level. We now have a very strong structure for the youth. We have elected youth officials for the first time in the history of this nation. And maybe apart from the ANC in South Africa, I think the party ODM is the only second party with those kind of structures, recognizing the youth, recognizing women, and having three organs working simultaneously together to to strengthen the party. So in our own opinion, we are not in a hurry to fill just 2 positions handpicked. We want to complete the processes that we have been carefully following. And when we hold our National Delegates Conference, the delegates themselves will decide which way the party goes.
Okay. Now, if we could leave ODM for a moment, and let's go to you as an individual. You know, we are going to the devolved system of government, and there will be several positions up for grabs. There will be senators, governors, and women representatives. These are positions that Kenyans are getting to vote for the very first time. And there could be a lot of confusions on what roles. I know you've indicated that probably you'll be running for a Senate. Probably you could tell us what roles you'll be playing as a senator, just in case you become this Nairobi first-time senator.
Yes, it is true that I have not just indicated, I have stated that I am going for the Senate seat. I am currently working very hard towards that. On the roles of Senate, the senator's role vis-a-vis the governor's role, one of the roles of a senator is that elected senators are going to legislate on issues that affect their counties or that elected them, in terms of budgetary allocation to all counties, and with specific reference to your county, where the oversighting the activities of the governor's office within that county, liaising with all elected leaders, actually, like the members of parliament and civic leaders, to know what issues to present. And even interestingly, also to consider matters that have been debated in the lower house, which is the parliament, when brought to the Senate. A senator's position will be to either decide whether that bill should pass or not. Very critical issues, including impeachment of the president and all that. So senators' responsibilities are closely tied to the county that elected that senator, closely tied to oversighting the activities within that county, especially the governor's office and how resources are being utilized. Also scrutinizing bills that find their way to the Senate and make informed decisions on whether to allow such bills to pass or not. By and large, really, that is the mandate of a senator. So it is legislation at a higher level.
At a higher level.
Yes.
And I'm very sure that not so many people know those particular roles. And now this brings the IEBC and even other bodies in questions. Have they been conducting this civic education as well? Are you, as an aspiring senator, have you indicated your people in your constituency, or even Nairobi at large, or even nationally, that these are the roles that I want to play as a senator when it comes to, if you vote me in as a senator?
Well, yeah, I have rolled out civic education programs in every constituency, the 17 constituencies of Nairobi. But it is my opinion that there's a missing gap between the government and the people in terms of civic education. I believe that this is the right time that the government should sponsor a lot of extensive and intensive civic education towards educating the voter on the different roles of the governor, senator, women's rep, members of parliament, because we have taken it for granted that everybody read the constitution. But that is not true. When you go out there campaigning, you find a lot of confusion, and people really do not understand. They will tell you, oh, somebody was here asking us to vote for him as a governor, and now you also want Senate. So at the grassroots level, people have really not conceptualized the different roles. They have not fully captured the spirit of the new constitution. They don't really understand the different mandates and how they will run parallel and the point on convergence. So I think this should not be left to aspirants or to individuals. It should be a massive program undertaken by the government, well funded, because when you have an electorate that are well conversant with the constitution, who really know what they are supposed to do and who they are voting for and the different roles, then you end up with people who will make informed choices, especially when they are electing the said leaders to the various positions. Because when the electorate know, for example, what a senator is supposed to do, then they will gauge those who present themselves based on their responsibility that is awaiting them. But in the absence of that, then we might have people voting without really knowing who they are voting for.
Probably we might even have this time around quite a big number of spoiled votes if we don't even educate people.
If we don't. And what we might end up with is a firefighting situation where then the government tries to do a lot of civic education when we don't have enough time and when there's already too much activity and too much politics at the grassroots, then it confuses the scenario. Because if you send civic educators at the point when it is 3 weeks to voting, then they don't get the kind of attention that they might get, and even their meetings might be politicized or taken over by politicians. I think this is the right time that the government, NGOs, and other interested stakeholders should be rolling out this kind of programs.
Now, your ambition to be the Senator of Nairobi, what do you think you will present as a Senator of Nairobi that you probably are seeing is happening in Nairobi, and you said, if I'm given a chance to be the Senator of Nairobi, I'm sure I'm going to change A, B, C, D?
Okay. Let me start by saying that having been in Nairobi, I can say all my life, all my adult life. I mean, I spent my teenage years in Nairobi. I have been a youth in Nairobi. I have gone to college in Nairobi. I've gone to university in Nairobi. I have started my family in Nairobi. I have worked in Nairobi, been employed in Nairobi, become an employer. And let me just say that the kind of problems that I see in Nairobi County, I would like to have a list of priority that could be a little different from what everybody expects. First of all, Nairobi is about 70% youthful. And out of this 70% youthful population, almost half of them are unemployed, if not over 60%. Now, you can do anything else, build very good roads, do everything. But if you do not engage this youthful population positively and have them involved in some gainful employment, either self or within some structures, then what you are sitting on is a time bomb that can bring all the infrastructure and everything down in a split second. So as a senator in Nairobi, I would like to legislate on policies that would create jobs. Number one, if you asked me, I would say first priority, job creation. Second priority, job creation. Third priority, job creation, because we need to employ this youth. We need, if not able to employ them, then allow them and help them to get involved in self-employment by allowing them to access loans, by building their capacities, by engaging them positively. And so my legislation will be based mostly on job creation, wealth creation, self-employment opportunity. Secondly, I will then give second priority to matters education. We have enough primary schools, if not enough, but at least if we added a few more, we'll be okay. We need to have a similar number of secondary schools so that the transition rate from primary to secondary is upscaled. But critically, there's a missing link between secondary education and university. We don't have enough middle-level colleges to absorb the number of youths that leave secondary schools in Nairobi County. So I would like to legislate to the effect of having and creating enough middle-level colleges that will absorb this critical mass of youth who end up with B minus, B plain and all that. Intelligent young people whose parents cannot cannot afford private university education. So you then end up with a very intelligent, youthful population who can engage you either way, and if not constructively engaged positively, then they become very destructive, because then not only are they youth, but they're also very intelligent. So you cannot just take them for granted, and not everything goes. So I would like to see very many facilities, enhanced facilities, middle-level colleges to absorb this youth, so that even as we create employment opportunities by attracting investors to come and build more industries in Nairobi County that would employ them, then they have the requisite skills. And thirdly, I would like to see to legislate towards health facilities that is affordable and accessible to all. Right now, we cannot talk about accessible health facilities. First of all,